This is my title. I sort of approached this sort of like a science experiment, I guess. I don't know. And that picture down there is from my front porch, which was one of the reasons I chose the house that we're living in now. And I'm on fruits, which it doesn't say fruits, but it says for the fruit. Okay, and I tried to blend in the things I've been learning and things either with a class or I've known in the past. And so this says that when you're introducing something new to your environment, the considerations are the same. And I'm going to discuss the 5 elements from the Tennessee Smart Yard I considered when adding fruit to my home. And if the ones that I've got that I'm addressing in here are the right plant, right place, manage soil and mulch, reduce, reuse, and recycle, water efficiently, manage yard pests, and hopefully I'm not providing fruit for the wildlife in my yard. At least that's not my intention, except for birds. I'll do those, but not my berries. Okay, my story. I think when you're talking, I don't know, because I haven't, go away, Daisy. I haven't done any, counseling with people about their gardens or answered any questions, but my thought is that I would have to know where they're coming from. So I thought, well, I'll tell you where I'm coming from. And we came from mid-Michigan, Reed City. And there the land we worked was 33 acres. We didn't really work all the land. We had some fence for horses at times and different things. But we had a piece of land and had grown grapes, blackberries, apple trees, Bing cherry, and a variety of other attempts, including strawberries, pear, and watermelons, to name some fruits, since that's my topic. The land was developed by my husband's father and later our attempts. And we used to utilize a 3720 John Deere tractor with power implements, flat land, rich soil, and did I mention we had younger bodies then? My husband really misses the tractor a lot, and he doesn't see any excuse, because now, over 30 years later, we've decided to move from Michigan here to Tennessee because one reason is the kids and the grandbabies have all scattered, and we decided to go to warmer and to a totally different climate and the soil of Greenville, Tennessee. And that's also because I have a sister here with currently 5 nieces and nephews. She's been foster care, adopted, or whatever, well over 100. Oh, my battery may run out soon. How fun. Now, over 30 years later, the kids and okay, wait, skip that. Anyway, so now we have barely an acre with 2/3 woods in a John Deere lawn tractor and clay. Are you guys all there? No, where are you?
Yeah, we're all
here.
Oh, you're there.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, sorry.
we're all muted, so we're here.
Okay, I'm sorry. There we had great wildlife. I had deer. We see deer. Groundhogs weren't favorites. Moles, mice, a small black bear I saw once, coyotes. Sometimes some years you'd have them howling, and it was fun and nice, sort of creepy. Lots of birds, whooping cranes, and even a bobcat. Maybe a bigger than a bobcat. My husband said it was much bigger than a bobcat, but we're not supposed to have anything bigger than that. And we use the land for horses, hunting, target practice, swimming, volleyball, and that's a picture of my grandson Amir. And that other picture there is I tried experimenting with straw bale gardening, because I used to. Back before the pool was in the pool barn, I had a big garden out there. But then I decided with just the 2 of us, and like I said, we're getting older, I did the raised bed and I tried the straw beds for 2 years, but I decided I wasn't going to do it here. All right, now, so the first thing is right plant, right location. So my location is sun to part shade, front to back is the way the sun goes, 6 hours of sun on either side of the house. It's limited even slope. Only in the backyard do I really have a good piece that's flat. And I have stability issues, so forget doing anything on a slope. I'm always picturing myself rolling down. And the soil is definitely clay with about 2 to 3 inches maybe of some turf or sod. So it's got good drainage per se on the grass part, whatever strange grass it is. And our soil tested at 6.33. And then I just put that in there in case to say, if I talk about front, if you look at that picture of the aerial view, the front that's a gold dust road that goes at the front. And then the back is where there's you can see on the top one, you can see I have a patio there. And I'm planting container plants right along that grass edge in there. I'm planting all over the place. And then that's some of my self-contained containers on my porch. And you can
Sue, do you need to advance? There we go. Right plant,
Advance.
right location. That's when we're seeing it now.
Oh, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm looking on sorry, I can't do two. So I'll say advance. I'm on slide 4. Now I'm on slide 5. So when I had fruits, it's like I wanted to do fruits, but the considerations I thought through when I decided what fruits to plant. I didn't want to experiment too much for my first year, just moving in an area, and I'm not sure how I want to utilize the land. So I looked for fruits that were most eaten by my family. Berries, apples, and bananas are the 3. Considerations, I wanted healthy choices. My husband's a diabetic. We're both aging. Low maintenance, they needed to be, because I'm physically challenged now. And easy to preserve the excess. I don't want to waste any food. All right, click to the next one, slide 6. I didn't click, sorry. Okay, and I had some elimination process. Things I ruled out. I ruled anything on trees. Reason being, I have limited space. Even though we have just under an acre, 2/3 of that is a little forest. So there's not a lot of place to put trees, a fruit tree. We might put a couple later when we find out what's easy to grow. Past difficulty with fruit trees. We've had some successes in Michigan and some not. And the cost of experimenting. It's very expensive, especially if you're getting, my husband likes to get bigger trees that are pretty established. And then anything exotic, didn't want that, settling into a new environment, and we're not south enough. My sister, who used to live in Florida and now lives here, would keep coming back to Michigan, and then she moved here to Tennessee, and she considers herself a halfback because she says that that's what they call them. They have gone to Florida and then come halfway back to Michigan, apparently. But the things I did rule in were adaptability, because since we have both retired and in a new location, and we're not 100% sure of what our new lifestyle or demands will be. I don't know if I'll be looking for, work, or if we'll be vacation, going to see grandkids that are all over the United States, and then with a Corona. Anyway, and then able to change it if it doesn't work the way we intended. That's why I like the idea of containers, because if I put things in a certain spot and they don't do successfully, I can move them. If I decide to plant them later, they could be changed, especially like with the fruit trees or shrubs. And then cost efficiency. Would I spend money on this fruit anyway? I don't want to get things that I don't buy right now, so I'm not really saving myself anything. And is the value of it cheaper or of the same value as I could just purchase? And then popular options. Ones, if there are people that I know in the area that I can tap in. This whole class, I feel, is an awesome group to tap in and ask questions and stuff. Ease of obtaining the particular fruit. Next slide, 7. So looking at, I came up with 2 that we eat berries a lot. So blueberries and strawberries, and these are just some of the benefits that I found in researching. By the way, I used a lot of sources that you guys provided and that were on our web. And my husband, since having a new type of TV where we can do YouTube on the TV, he doesn't have a smartphone, he has a flip. We do a lot of YouTube, see how it is, and then think whether we can do it or not. All right, next slide, 8. So my research, and I give you some of the things that, where to plant blueberries, part to full sun. They need moist, porous, well-drained soil with a pH of 4.5 to 5.5. And then what the root system is like, that they are somewhat fragile and shallow, which I like the idea because they are shallow, that, again, a container type of system, which it says it does, but that makes sense because you don't have to have real deep depths for them to grow in. And I thought too with them, if I choose later that I want to actually, because I didn't end up getting the dwarf kinds, then I could plant them somewhere else and let them maybe grow to their full height, especially with the slants. I could always go on the high side to pick them. And then it's recommended for them to set them in dirt mounds to control moisture. That would be if it were on the ground. Strawberries, again, full sun, well drained, pH of 5.5 to 7, which actually runs good into our soil because I had it tested, and it's 6.3. And then the root system you'll see on the next slide, because I found a really neat graphic, because I haven't planted my strawberries yet. That's my Thursday. And it's best to grow strawberries in, this was one source said, either half barrels or other large containers. And you'll see pretty soon what I chose. Next slide. There's from Bonnie. I just thought this was an excellent graphic, because when I'm going to actually soak my strawberry plants that I've purchased, I've been told to do them overnight, and then tomorrow I've got one of my little nephews who's 7. You'll see him later. He's going to come and help me. So this will be a good. I should print out the picture so I can show them, and we can keep each other planting them correctly. Next slide. So my decision was made: containers and blueberries and strawberries. Next slide. These are the berries that I'm planting. The blueberries I've already planted. So the next thing, right place, right plant. Sorry, and I know from our class that containers would probably be better with the dwarf ones, but I also want to connect to the community. And Chanel and Preston are a family couple that run a little gardening shop just down from ours. We're off 107 down the road from Mon Paz, and if you go just a while down on that 107 cut past, I'm not sorry. It's weird talking to yourself in a room and you can't hear any response. Anyway, I wanted to get in contact with someone who's local. So the 2 plants that blueberries that she recommended that she had there, because they didn't have the powder blue, and there was another one I was going to get that were smaller, was the Premier and the Climax. And then looking into them, they are awesome berries, and they are doing what I want. I want to be able to eat them, freeze them, and make jam, basically, with the blueberries. And then the strawberry are the Ozark. And next slide. Oh, let's see. Why? Oh. Okay, I'm just looking, sorry, I'm looking down at my notes to see anything. Oh, over to the side is a rain barrel. And what I found is we have city water, and there is, oh, what do they treat it with? I can't think right now. But anyway, it's treated, so it's not really good for plants because the chemical that they treat it with, I can't pull, it's a simple name, and you're probably all yelling at, but anyway. So we put a rain barrel. That's not my rain barrel, but we've got a rain barrel on the side of the house, and it's got the little nozzle, and that's what I'm watering my plants with. So that's part of the recycle or the water efficiency, actually, or a bit of both, because it is a recycled barrel. And then also I use self-watering containers when I set that up. Next slide. This is one of the researches that we did. If you haven't watched a YouTube by Leon, watch a YouTube by Leon. He is an awesome guy. He's oh, well, forget it. Anyway, he shows you how to do these self-watering containers with just about anything that you have around. And I've been adapting them myself, but he's great. And during the whole coronavirus, when we couldn't go to church on Easter, he actually did a video where he read through the Easter story, which I thought was just really sweet. He's a great guy. Anyway, so do your YouTube research. That was a lot of fun also. Next slide. And so I was going to do containers. The picture to the right shows the container that I did. It's just a plastic 5-gallon, I would say, regular bucket from Walmart, and then I put in it, I'll show you later, milk gallon, empty milk gallon with the tube that's standing up and there's green around it right there. That actually takes water down into the bucket to keep a reservoir that the plant can tap into. And there's a cup there. I don't use a cup to have the runoff from the water anymore, but there's a tube there that then the excess comes out through the, so the berry plants can keep moist but never sit in water. And then I also tried to mulch them up so the water would run off. It shows what they would thrive in. They thrive in 4.8 to 5.2. And I would have had to amend my soil, which was 6.6, by adding sulfur over time, because they actually suggested like 3 years if I did it on the ground. So instead, with the containers, I just mixed the soil or the mix that would go well with it. So I had an organic raised bed mix, peat moss, sulfur, Epsom salts. And I didn't take a picture, I forgot. I have a little device so that you can stick into the soil and you can test its moisture. It was only like a $13 purchase, and pH balance to a soil. And I thought that was a great addition. The picture with a little girl, that's my niece, and that's at a friend of ours who has a raised bed blueberry. So I thought I'd show you that option also. Okay, next slide. This is what I'm doing with strawberry. This is my conglomeration of a water pool strawberry. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to lift the one pool over the other, because you have to get that well that has water, but then has an air pocket, so that the things that a plant needs are water and air and sunlight. The water and air, because of how you do your holes. Again, watch any of the videos and they'll give you a lot, and I'll let you know if this method works. But this is what I came up with. The PVC pipe additions on the bottom I had, so I glued them to give it separation between the two. I saw a whole bunch of different methods, but this is what I had, so I recycled, I reused. Those are just cottage cheese containers that I drilled holes in. So the bottom and then just under the top pool, and I assembled it. And then, like I said, next slide is plant day. And that's my little nephew, Zyler, who's going to help me plant those strawberries. And we'll also take care of the pests and birds, because they do like fruits. And I've got netting, so I'll add that to my containers, is to make sure I have a netting system up, because my blueberries are looking awfully good. On the Climax, there's blueberries all over. They're not fully blue, but they're blueberries. The other one is still more at the flowering stage. But and then we'll also move out tomatoes, sunflowers, and all those. And I've got a lot of experiments. And that's the end of my presentation.